What is up, guys? We're back with another episode of Devil on G String. Last we left off, Usami and Tsubaki might make their own little plan to what's gonna happen today. Well, let's see, and we'll find out what's gonna happen today. I'm pretty excited, guys, so let's get into it. The morning chill seemed a touch colder today. Alright, I've got a full day ahead of me today, too. Finishing up the preparations for the day, I walked to the door, only to have the cell in my chest pocket suddenly ring. Hello? It was Tsubaki. It's no problem. Has something happened? Oh? I pretended to be surprised. That's a lot of pressure. Can you do it by yourself? I sensed the steeled resolution in Tsubaki's voice. I'm sorry I can't be there with you at a time like this. Well, I still have work to do. I'll come right over after I'm finished. Yeah, after I'm finished. I hung up and walked out of the door. Ooh! Maou, Kyousuke. Finally! I couldn't contain my amusement. A smile tugged at my lips. Let's enjoy this little game, shall we? Usami? 9 o'clock in the morning. Haru's mind was as clear as the winter sky. Okay. Tsubaki was holding the certificates in an envelope, cradling it like a precious child. After waving to Tsubaki's parents, who had walked the pair to the door, the two of them left for Central Boulevard. Where did all these people come from? Even at noon on Central Boulevard, this monstrous crowd is out of the ordinary. Tsubaki's stride was getting heavier by the second. Haru's matched her footsteps, moving in tandem. In fact, Haru was under the impression that Maou was practically inviting her to participate in this incident. Maou had likely anticipated Haru's involvement. If so, then instead of delivering the ransom with Tsubaki, it would be better to try and hide and pounce on Maou at the opportune moment. For example, the best chance of nabbing Maou might come when his attention is focused on Tsubaki's during the exchange. Tsubaki asked. She must have been worried about being alone. Tsubaki tilted her head dubiously. Haru put her hand on Tsubaki's shoulder. That one sentence made Tsubaki relax, if only just a little bit. A hint of crimson flashed across her face and she nodded. Tsubaki frowned again, apprehensive once more. Tsubaki must still want to follow the instructions of the kidnapper and give him the ransom.
たとえ犯人に逃げられても、身代金さえ手元にあれば、もう一度交渉のチャンスはつかめる。 と思う。
I think. I don't know about that. Maou will try to contact the family again and attempt to get the ransom. And after that, a second battle will ensue. This should be true, but a foreboding feeling wriggled about in Haru's gut. One can claim that Haru's speculations are appropriate, but they make the critical assumption that Mao's goal is to get the ransom. To the best of her knowledge, though, this crime wasn't committed by a person who needs money. Just how much is 50 million yen in shares to Maou? Still, Haru remains stubbornly convinced that Maou is just trying to provoke her. In Mao's eyes, it might be less of a challenge and more of a game. And whatever the case, if Maou intends to defeat Haru, she would simply have to beat him to the punch. Of course, there's a chance that Maou might kill Hiroki-kun out of retaliation when he realizes his defeat. Haru couldn't tear this unsettling thought from her mind.
はるちゃん、昨日も言ったけど、はるちゃんのいいようにして。ありがとう。そう言ってくれると思っていた。
Tsubaki stuck out her tongue.
はるちゃんって不思議な人だね。なんだ急に。ドヨーンとしたり、キリッとしたり。一体どれが本当のはるちゃんなの？そう。
To be looked into by another gave Haru a tingling feeling.
はるちゃんって転校多かったんじゃない？まあ。そっか。大変だったね。
As kind as she was, Tsubaki must have realized that Haru probably didn't have many
おい
friends.
つばき。私はよく気持ちが悪いと言われる。
Her words seemingly come out of nowhere, shocked Tsubaki
気
wide-eyed.
持ちが悪かったら縁を切ってもらって構わないんだぞ。
Haru thought of the past where she perpetually hid her loneliness behind a lone wolf attitude and a cynical facade. However, Tsubaki's response was firm.
悲しいこと言わないで。
Surprised, Haru looked at Tsubaki.
お友達だよ、はるちゃんは。
Just why would such a pure girl exist in real life? Tsubaki's gaze was firm, charismatic even. Haru decided in the back of her mind to do everything in her power for Tsubaki, no matter what happened. She couldn't understand the reason behind it, and Haru's confusion showed on her face.
最後に一つだけ聞きたい。さっきも最後にって言ってなかったっけ？これが本当に最後だ。そしてかなり重要なことだ。うん。
Haru fixed her gaze on Tsubaki.
椿は浅井さんのことが好きなのか？
Oh, Tsubaki obviously hadn't expected that, as she blushed
どう
red.
なんだ？
Ah!
どうなんだと聞いているんだ。好きだよ。もちろんあんなに頼りになる人いないよ。
Oh.
ふーんって。
So her first impression was correct. Haru's emotion grew complicated. On the contrary, Tsubaki's mind seemed to have already cleared up.
何にしてもありがとう、はるちゃん。
Tsubaki said.
ひろあきが帰ってきたらいっぱいお話ししようね。
Haru nodded. This time it was Tsubaki's word that helped Haru relax. After all, she had just gained an excellent friend. It was already 11:10. Tsubaki glanced at the clock on Central Boulevard to double-check the time. After parting with Haru, she had been on her own, following the kidnapper's instruction by herself. Almost right after the mall opened, she walked in. Per the criminal's demands, she spent 6,000 yen on a cheap attached case. The ransom worth virtually everything the entire family owns was already in that briefcase. Tsubaki dialed on the phone Haru gave her. It was strong in both battery life and signal.
もしもし。
The call connected quickly. The kidnapper's captivating voice circled around her ear. She had no idea what he was talking about. She had no choice but to rush to her brother's life on the line. Tsubaki can only give a faint response. The call was suddenly disconnected. Tsubaki stopped and looked around, searching for Haru. However, sweeping her gaze through the bustling sea of people, she couldn't spot that attention-grabbing hair. She should be following me right now. Tsubaki gripped her briefcase, cutting through the chaotic streets. The fucking songs, though. 30 minutes at the very most. 20 minutes should be enough time to reach the park from the department store on foot, even for a girl. Even though I told Tsubaki that we would meet, I have no intentions of fulfilling that promise. I need to confirm that one thing before I take the ransom. Whether or not the delivery person is truly obedient to the kidnapper. In other words, I need to determine whether or not she has the sense of responsibility, the stamina required for a successful exchange. And most importantly, whether or not she's contacted the police. So 30 minutes. My gaze followed the minute hand on my watch. I believe that if she's still not here within 30 minutes, without a doubt the police will be coming with her. If Tsubaki's family has ignored my warnings and called the police, there might be over 100 officers watching Tsubaki deliver the ransom. In order to capture me, countless police officers would have already begun setting an escapable net at the park. However, no matter how quickly the task force responds, doing so would take a considerable amount of time. After all, the police would have to move everyone from Central Boulevard to this park. They wouldn't allow Tsubaki to proceed until they finished organizing their members. That's why I'm being so sensitive to the time. If I don't spot Tsubaki within 30 minutes, I have no choice to cancel the exchange. Visibly in the park is excellent. Visibility. If there are undercover cops about, I might be able to spot them. However, I don't have the confidence to say I could do so with an absolute certainty. For instance, if you were to ask me who stands out the most, there are two middle-aged couples, a man walking a dog, a man who looks like he's on his way to the office, and an old man helping a pregnant woman. There are simply too many suspects. Thus, the least I should do is remember the faces of everyone here. That way, if a person with a familiar face shows up as I order Tsubaki around, I can determine with high confidence that the person is with the police. I sat on a bench, scanning the area, searching for signs of law enforcement. I saw Tsubaki. She was sprinting to the billboard with all her strength. A girl wearing casual clothes and carrying an attached case is very conspicuous. If a person with an overactive imagination saw Tsubaki right now, they might think that she looks like she's running to deliver a ransom. I checked the time. It has been less than 15 minutes since the last contact. Well then, it's about time to issue the next order. However, I need to act on the assumption that there are already undercover police searching the park. If that is indeed the case, then I definitely can't call her immediately. The moment Tsubaki picks up, they'll be searching the park frantically for anyone talking on the phone. Before leaving, I took a second to look at Tsubaki in the distance. Even from afar, I could see she was nervous. She waited for almost an hour. Tsubaki was nearly suffocating from the anxiety. Even though she came to the appointed place, not a single person who seemed like the kidnapper has shown up. The only people who have come to talk to her are flirtatious young men not knowing anything about the situation. Her cell phone suddenly rang. The kidnapper is calling. She yelled into the phone. The kidnapper groaned in discontent. The kidnapper's instructions are what made her stand out so badly, but she kept this thought to herself out of fear. Tsubaki was lost. She searched for Haru without thinking, but she couldn't even find a thread of her being. Lodging the cell between her head and shoulders, she used her free hand to open her diary. The warning was probably prepared by him beforehand. Tsubaki waited for her next instructions. Sakura Ogi. Interesting name. That's the final stop out of the line in the next prefecture. From Central Boulevard, the trip will take 2 hours. Just what is he planning to have me do, calling me out that far? He used a frivolous tone. He's probably just messing with her. Tsubaki's unreleased emotions are rising and crashing inside her chest, waiting to explode at the slightest touch. Flames of anger begin to swell within the girl. Yet even with Tsubaki's in this state, the kidnapper spoke to her in a mocking tone. She herself was surprised at the strength and harshness in her words. An unbearable silence followed. Terror attacked her. She may have angered the kidnapper. Inappropriate provocation may bring her disaster upon Hiroki. If that truly happened, how could she possibly endure the knowledge that she was responsible? The criminal spoke quietly. His words only confused her. Just as she was about to ask, the connection was cut. Into a human? Does that have some kind of philosophical meaning? Philosophical meaning? I'm such an idiot. She's never been good at understanding hidden meanings. And besides, it's only natural for her not to understand the ideals of an evildoer, of a man who kidnapped a child. She collected her feelings and walked to the station. As she was waiting for the light to change, someone spoke out to her. Oh, Haru! Tsubaki had no idea when she had appeared, but Haru was standing by her side. She spoke to Tsubaki, keeping her eyes straight ahead rather than looking at her. What? The light turned green. People began to surge forward. Once she got to the other end of the crosswalk, Tsubaki looked back behind her. Haru was already nowhere to be seen. Even now, Tsubaki had a sense of resistance to littering, but when she realized Haru would pick it up immediately, she felt a little better about it. 2 hours and 10 minutes have passed. If one hurried, she would have been able to get from the parts of Sakurai Ogi City in 2 hours. If it takes Tsubaki any longer, there's again the possibility of police involvement. I, of course, am still on Central Boulevard. After finishing all my preparations, I sat in the back seat of a car and gazed at the scenery outside. The populace ignored the cruelty of the winter's cold, and the street grew even livelier. A panicked voice came through from the other end of the line. Are you there? I hope you didn't lose the key. I gave her the instructions decided upon a long time ago. Come back. Ignoring Tsubaki, who was in an utter morbid state, I continued. Come back and retrieve the briefcase from the locker. There is no reason for me to explain. To get the ransom, of course. Who knows? It's clear from her voice that she would like nothing better than give me the ransom right this second. There is no police involvement? There's a reason she had to go from Tomenbetsu to Sakuraiyogi City. Please take the respective jurisdictions seriously. If Tsubaki was being backed by the police, then this kidnapping investigation would have to be transferred to the other prefecture. Thus, the arrangement of personnel would be put into disorder once more. Such an event would considerably hinder police mobilization in this prefecture. Of course, there is a chance that the police department have made contact previously and are working together. However, police are people who are very conscious of territory, if not quite at a Yakuza level. According to my judgment, the police of Tomenbetsu and Sakuraiyogi City won't rally together just for a kidnapping incident. Still, it's a good thing I didn't send her to Tokyo. That was my original plan. I would have never guessed that this prefecture and the Tokyo Police Department keep an unexpectedly good relationship. I only found this out a short while ago. That was dangerous. Fine, I will believe you. Tsubaki's actions are swift, without hesitation. At the very least, she shouldn't have had the time to be in close contact with the police. Next time, I promise, next time I will retrieve the ransom. I was finally confident that I had done enough to preclude the police involvement and continue on with this battle. Take the subway to the residential area in the southern district. I am going to give you the address you need to go to. Tsubaki confirmed the address that I told her the details. A white car will be parked there. Its door will be unlocked. Take the ransom and sit in the back seat. Wait for me to arrive. Are you uneasy? Does the thought of being in a cramped car alone with me frighten you? I laughed coldly. I was hoping to go for a ride. I'm really looking forward to it. I hung up and commanded the driver to go. Alright guys, we're gonna end it here. I'm pretty excited to know what's gonna happen. Because I don't know what's gonna happen, so if you liked what I did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back with another episode of Devil on G-String soon. Thanks guys.